Minutes of the June 24th, 2024 meeting of the Open Space Committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
That was Paul. Brian. Thank you. Okay, we'll take a roll call vote to approve the minutes. We're just joined by Ashley. Are you with us, Ashley?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Let's see. At those minutes, everybody here was at the meeting. So we'll ask for a vote. Dan Clark, approve.
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ashley.
Yes.
Thank you. And John, yes, minutes are approved. Thanks very much. The minutes did contain a lot of references to discussions about items on the landowner list and some actions that people would take. So we'll refer back to that. I wanted to quickly go over the committee membership, make sure we're up to date, who's in, who's out. I asked Vinny to remind me how many members total were we authorized to do. There is still one at-large opening on the committee, should anyone know of someone interested. But otherwise, we have 9 total members, including those here. Dan still representing conservation, is that correct?
Yes.
Paul still representing recreation, is that correct?
Yes.
We have a planning board rep, I believe that's Anthony Zeiton. Is that still true as far as you know, Vinny?
Yes.
Okay, but Paul's not, I'm sorry, Anthony's not with us tonight. We have a select board liaison, which is Lisa Maselli, and she's also not with us. And then other members are at large, and those are the ones we're looking at, with the exception of Paul Tagliaferra. So that's all. I just wanted to make sure we were all on board and there were no questions on the liaisons or board members. So I guess we're good. Moving on. We were going to discuss those landowner outreach mailings. Any responses, Vinny?
Yes, we got a response from one, and I think Ashley and I went out and met. Well, we didn't go out. We met via Zoom with what line is that?
Was this the North
They'd like
Fork
to remain
property?
anonymous.
Yes, they want to remain anonymous.
Okay. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yep, that's right. I'm trying to figure out which line that was. Do you have the line, Ashley, in our spreadsheet?
I don't
Okay,
know, but it was just an exploratory discussion, you know.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
there's a whole association, a very large group that needs to make decisions there. So it was really about understanding options.
I see it as line 9.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
How did what was their interest in general, and did they just want to know what the possibility was?
Basically the process, how it works. Really just understanding what conservation means, what the different various mechanisms are, what it might look like for that property and its uses, and how we go about it to be educated. Yeah.
Great. Is the ownership specifically to the association, or is there a principal?
It's owned by all members.
Okay. Very good. Is there any action we need to take now?
No, I believe Vinny, you sent information and they were gonna get back to us if they wanted to do anything about it, right?
Yes, yes, I provided a response to their inquiry, and they had a couple of just specific questions to the site that how things would apply, and I replied, and I haven't heard anything back.
And it's currently still being used as its originally planned use?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that wouldn't change, so they're
Yeah,
continuing to continue? Or is this exploring?
I
what
don't
would
think there's
happen if
any,
They did not continue that.
yeah, I don't think there's any plans for them to change the use.
Okay.
It's really about what they're not using.
Okay, thanks.
Very good. How about we move on to line 15 and 16? Where the committee approved some additional appraisal money. There's been correspondence back from, I should say, information back from Vinny. Anything further we can talk about as to the dialogue or any next steps?
We corrected or updated the appraisal for that property as requested, and it took a little while for the appraiser to get that done, but we now have that in hand, and I talked with Ashley, and we're going to share that with the property owners, and then we'll have more to report back to you at the next meeting, I expect.
Excellent. So they're still receptive at this point?
Well, I haven't spoken, well, the people I spoke with are receptive, but I didn't get the whole group, so I only spoke with one of the members, 1 out of 3.
Well, great. I really appreciate you and Ashley pursuing that and being in contact with them.
Yeah,
Very helpful.
that's the whole idea.
Yeah, it's great. I noticed in the minutes there was some back and forth with regard to the property up and around Shops Way, that it might relate to Shrewsbury's Trails Committee. Somebody was going to reach out. Is that relevant tonight, or it's just still in the future, or no new news?
I can comment on that. There's no specific new news about that. I did finally get myself over to a Shrewsbury Trails meeting. They certainly are interested in collaboration and doing some development work over there, but I don't have any, specific updates regarding that. I have some plans to attend their next meeting, and I'll try to actually get it on their agenda.
Interesting. Okay. Is there some connection possibility? This is lines 57, 58, 59, 60, that group, is that correct?
Sounds right.
Yeah. I think there is
Yes.
potential for connectivity. There's certainly vocal interest in access to that land. So I think the next step is to actually figure out if it's if it's actually plausible.
Gotcha.
It's a big chunk of big chunks.
Yeah, it took me a long time to actually get to a Shrewsbury meeting, and then the one that I went to, they were dealing with, I don't know, a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Well, it's great. Interesting to get that dialogue going. Now, this is chapter land, right?
Yes, it is.
171 acres in all.
Yeah, there's a lot of area out there, and it's a good potential. There are some pathways through it, and so hopefully we can try to get something to work. And it also would tie in nicely to a project that is being proposed by the state government in that area. So we could all work together in a timely manner, hopefully.
Great. While we're in that area of the list, I see line 56. And I know we discussed it briefly at the last meeting. This is obviously a huge parcels of land. And I don't know, some on the committee may remember years back, one of our members had a connection, tried to broach it. There wasn't much receptiveness at the time. You know, it's an ongoing business. So I don't, does anyone have anything new? Otherwise, we just keep it on our radar, obviously.
No, but I haven't thought about Charlie in a long time.
Nope. Nor have I. We just did. Hi, Charlie. Okay. Anyone have any other input on?
Parcels, there was one parcel that is, property owner in town passed away. Actually, I'll share my screen here. And property owner passed away and is interested in the town acquiring or gifting the land to the town.
Oh yeah, small piece, right?
Yes. Where is that on my screen? That's interesting.
It's line 48, I think.
No, it's not. This one's not on the
Oh, it's a
property.
different one?
Yeah. Actually, I thought I had it open, but
You emailed to us just this week, right?
yes. Let me pull up the. So you can see my screen now, everything on my screen.
Yep.
Get this out of the way. It doesn't want to go. All right. Well, here we are. This is Route 20 going north-south with Davis Street and then Northgate Road coming across. This is a 1/4 acre parcel in blue. And the property owner has moved out of state, is interested in just having, the town owns this wetland, the big wetland next to it, right on the corner. And so they want to sell it to the town, or they want to give it to the town. So the
Can
town
you
is
zoom
interested
out
in
just a
acquiring-
little, Vinny? I'm sorry.
Wrong way.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that a buildable lot?
No, it's a 1/4 acre, mostly all wetland behind it, and it's not. There's not a lot of space to do much of anything. It's just wooded, and
Great.
I could pull up contours if you want, but it's just.
There's a lot of Verizon wires in that area.
Oh, there
Tell you
are.
that. Yep.
Okay.
A lot of what?
It's a lot of Verizon network
Oh, really? Oh.
infrastructure, and there's a ton of stuff that comes off of Davis Street and makes a hard right at that corner
Mhm.
with respect to wires and National Grid.
Let's see if we can see it.
It's about a mile from me.
So where am I going? I want to go. Oh, I wanna go
Keep
the other
going.
way.
You want to go towards Davis, so
The opposite direction.
up arrow.
This way,
You want
right?
to go? You want to go the other way.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep. You want to go towards Davis.
So it's
Keep
on
going.
the
It's
left.
going to be
hand
on the
side,
left
right?
hand
yeah,
side.
it's this kind of here.
Yeah, it's going to be on the left hand side. Keep going. It's opposite that house that is on the right. Yep, keep going.
Well, this is really, like you said, there is some electrical work or electrical utilities in that area.
If it's closer to Davis on your other plot map,
Yeah.
it's a little further down the street than that.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, I thought we were close. There we
Nope.
are.
All
No,
right,
we're-
stop right there. It's gonna be on your left hand side.
I see what you mean.
That's our site.
Yep.
Some
The
advertising.
wetlands are behind it.
Right, but there's a 35-foot no structures zone
Yep.
for the conservation, so it's not really a buildable lot. And the owner is just trying to have the town accept it as open space, grant it, give it to the town, and the Conservation Commission would be the ones to accept it. So I'm not sure, Dan, if you have any thoughts on it, or at your next meeting, it's probably going to be on your agenda, just so you're ready.
I was gonna say free land is nice. Not quite sure how much conservation value quarter acre has, but
You're right. And you see, it's not, this is the contours. It's pretty steep coming right off the road. And this is the mapped wetland, so I would assume that the wetland probably goes up beyond that onto the property. Just from prior experience with these, this is from the assessor. It's not an actual mapped wetland delineation.
Dan, are you suggesting we don't take it?
I don't think I've ever turned down free land.
I was gonna
I'm just
say.
saying it's, yeah, if it's free, I mean, nothing's really free. You got to do your, transfer land. There is some legwork and some staff time involved. But in terms of outright cost, I mean, I don't have any objection to taking it, no.
Could you zoom out a little, Vinny? The so-called wetlands, is this already conservation land or owned by somebody?
Next to it, it's town-owned property. Let me just check.
Just like south of it, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's south.
Town of Northborough vacant, so it's not conservation land, but it is all wetland. It's not considered conservation open space.
So that might be a good opportunity to roll that into conservation land. And take that parcel with it.
Sure. Is there any trail potential or is it totally wet?
I did not walk the site. That's Brian. He's been on all over the town, so.
Because I mean, this could be a trailhead thing if there was any potential to usable
Yeah.
recreation land.
I can tell you just one thought from living in the area for so long. There's a cul-de-sac that's just south of off of Davis, Nelson Drive. And there on Davis Street, there are no ways or pedestrian ways to connect Northgate and Davis from that whole area. So like all of Davis right there on both sides is you're walking in the street if you're trying to go down Davis Street. In that general area all the way to Nelson Drive, and it doesn't pick up with sidewalk until after Nelson. I've heard people that have expressed interest in my neighborhood about having some type of trail to be able to walk down Davis. But there's virtually no sidewalks until you get to Hamilton, I believe. Yeah.
Where's the elementary school? It's just up north of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
So you're talking potential paths to get up I guess you have to cross somebody else's land though, right? To get onto Northgate as far as walkability. Is that kind of what you're thinking, Paul?
Yeah, well, there's no Davis Street in general. I'm thinking of ways to connect that neighborhood that's on the outskirts there
Mm-hmm.
to Northgate. The sidewalk basically ends at Davis on Northgate.
Understood.
So could we do a trail, some number of feet in from the
Mhm.
road and just kind of parallel it? I don't think I've ever gone on that parcel, but
No, I've never noticed it myself.
There's definitely, I mean, unless there's, some type of, I mean, there's definitely room for like at least a 4 foot wide, area, even if it's not like paved or what have you. Um, but basically what happens is when I think Vinny was scrolling and you saw the Verizon kind of hub, which is right where your cursor is, right there. That's where the sidewalk goes to it's on the other side of the street. Yep. But that's just I'm just kind of thinking out loud if that's gifted to us. Let's see, the sidewalk stops right at the end of right there.
Yeah, so there's already a sidewalk on the opposite side of the road. We wouldn't need to put a
Yep.
sidewalk on the property
No.
we're looking at.
No.
But having something go through here, which is kind of a separate issue, but a good issue.
Yep.
Finding some way to go from here, where you're going down south,
Yep.
because there's no sidewalk on this road.
Right. Correct.
When it gets down to this whole development area here
Yep.
and all that. Are there sidewalks farther south?
They started Hamilton. So,
Yeah,
which is right there, I think.
right here.
Yep. And they go into Hamilton. They stay off of Davis.
Okay, right. Yeah, so that's not a lot of space and it'd be right along people's driveways and access. But something to look at.
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to bring it up as a point of reference for folks.
Yep. The property we're looking at is this little one right here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with Dan. Freeland is great. It collects trash, to be honest with you. Whenever there's a town cleanup day, there's always a yellow bag right there.
Oh, yeah.
But it would be nice to have control and roll that into the other parcel so that we control it all the way to the street.
Yeah, I think it's great.
All right, so do we want to have just a recommendation from John and an email maybe to Laurie and Tim supporting the idea of the town accepting the gift of 0 North Street or 0 North Gate Road?
I'd say yes.
I
Sounds
agree.
good. Good. All right.
So we have a consensus. I don't think we really need to vote.
Right.
Sounds good to me.
Where'd you guys go? I lost you.
And
We're here. So as
There you
a
are.
sort of related question, when it's vacant land, so forgive my ignorance, like who's in charge of that?
Vacant town-owned land,
Yeah.
DPW, unless it's designated as a conservation area.
so answer your question, Brian. DPW comes and cuts the brush back on that vacant lot all the way. That's along Davis. So they take care of sort of the overgrown areas along Davis as they're vacant lots.
Cool.
Very good. You're okay to draft that, Vinny? Or
I can. Yep. I'll send it to you yep.
thank you very much. Love it.
And that's all I had.
Paul was
Very
right.
good.
That is on the spreadsheet, Vinny. Must have added it.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Okay. It's at the very bottom. Yep. All right. I think I printed it out before I did that one.
Is it a Northgate address or something else?
It is.
Well,
I
it's
didn't
got to
see
be
it.
a higher number than that because I'm down the other end
No,
with the Lord.
those,
No.
whenever that's not that, they use that number when there's no
Oh,
buildings, no activity on it. So there's probably 15 of those number. So it's not really
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get you if you do a search. but
got you.
it's not a residential unit yet.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that drives me crazy, but it's just the way it is here.
Any other landowner discussions, input at all? Okay, well, hearing none, we carry on. We got our letters out. I don't, we can just keep this as an active agenda item. Move it forward, right?
Yes, hopefully, the intention is to have something happen. We don't need town meeting approval. All we need is the select board to accept it and the Conservation Commission to accept it.
Great. Okay. I had one miscellaneous other business item. Vinny, did you get my email?
I did.
Would you be able to share that?
I think I can.
This is going to be a blast from the past.
Oh, oh yeah, there it is.
So in 2014, at town meeting, it was approved for $15,000 to establish a trailhead parking area for access into what we called Hot Brook. This is along Route 20 Southwest cutoff heading south out of town, kind of along the engineering dam and so on. I don't think I've really ever personally walked around up there, but you drive by it all the time. And my memory was that we ran into an obstacle at the state level, getting permission to do this, to walk on it. And there was some back and forth. As far as I remember, it just kind of died. I don't think we were ever told no, but I don't think we ever pushed it. Any memory of this, Brian? I know.
Yeah, I'm going to struggle with the specifics, but we talked about this parking lot and that area at numerous Trails Committee meetings. At one point, Bob Mahalik was very focused on this,
Right.
but there was an issue with there was waste. It was like a garbage dump, and stuff was coming up out of the ground. And whomever the site owner was supposed to, and this is somewhat third hand, was supposed to like encapsulate it, make sure that it was cleaned up, and then officially open the area to the public. But for whatever reason, that either just never happened or it happened and no one saw it happen or heard about it. So forgive me because we talked about this for so long, for so many years, I don't have my notes on who it was. So
When you say trash, was it
like
out
landfill
on the
style.
property somewhere?
Vinny's got.
I got an update for you on this. Bob Mahalik had talked to me about this. He was all excited about this, like you said, years ago. So I contacted the DCR directly, and they're in the process. This is what I was kind of talking about with the other. You were talking about the connection to Shrewsbury. This is part of the area that would connect to that same trail that would go in. Hopefully, we might be able to get it to go. As you can see my cursor, I think the little hand going. You've got a trail that might come down around here along the dam, along the top of the dam, across the dike, then across the dam area, and then up and over, maybe all the way over to Shrewsbury and connect into there. What I've been in contact with is what Brian has been speaking about. There was an old dump site, an old automobile scrapyard, and there was old wires dumped in there. So the DCR has already come to the Conservation Commission and gotten approval a couple of years ago to pull out all the visible scraps and debris that was on the surface. And I'm expecting in the next week or month, if they don't have it done in a week, an application to the Conservation Commission to do some excavation in that area where my pointer is. Some of it is a wetland, but they're going to excavate down, I think a maximum of 18 inches, and pull out all the debris and all the hazardous material, all the trash that was dumped in there, and then restore it back to a clean or a good condition, a stable condition. As part of that work, they're also going to be doing some reinforcing of the dike that's along Route 20. And as part of that, what I'm trying and hoping that they're going to include in their plans is to have a parking area, or actually a construction entrance where you have that note for the trail entrance. Another construction entrance off of Route 20 where there's currently a gate in that area. And then when they're done with the construction of that, or the repairs at the dike, and then the removal of the hazardous material, they leave those staging areas, construction entrances in place, maybe circle them with some boulders, or the town does that, circling it with a boulder, and have like 4 or 8 parking spaces on each end. So people would have that. And then we use the access trail that was constructed for the construction as a permanent trail for the Trails Committee to continue maintenance of. Not the full width, but down to whatever the 5-foot width that would be required. It wouldn't be a paved trail. It would just be a rough gravel trail, but they would leave it as, they would leave the construction access roads. They would be packed down and stable, and I think they'd be really good surfaces to have a trail that's usable by the public. So
Nice.
hopefully
Wow.
it's coming, but it's the state, so I'm not sure when it's coming.
This is more than I expected for information. Wasn't there a vacant lot too on the road on Davis, and that was going to be our trailhead area? Is that still there? Is my memory correct?
Yeah. Yes, it's vacant. It's owned by the DCR.
Really?
And so,
Okay.
yeah, so they are willing to allow, well, they're willing to talk right now to talk about allowing the town to utilize that. And as long as we probably keep it clean, keep up the maintenance, and there are no issues, I don't think they'll blink an eye about it. If that ends up becoming a dump site again, or where police have to get called in for any reason and they get phone calls, I don't think they'll be pleased, and they would probably abandon the idea. But right now they seem to be working with us to make that happen.
Great news.
That's excellent.
But
Thanks.
hopefully, like I said, I'm waiting to
Yeah.
see the plans from the DCR for their cleanup work that might include some discussion of this. There's nothing in writing. It's just been conversations with people at DCR, but they've been really good. So very cooperative and willing to work with us.
Perfect.
Vin, what is the address that we would put in if we wanted to see it on Google Maps? It's not too far from my house too, so
The last lot I know is 128.
okay.
Really not
Yeah.
real nice guy there, and it's right next to him.
Yeah, or not 94 Davis.
94 Davis, Brian.
Okay.
It's adjacent to that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, or 128, right in between the two.
Yep.
Vinny, is it MWRA who does the mowing of the dike currently?
That I don't know. Because I don't think so, because this is a flood control operation, not a aqueduct. MWRA usually does the aqueducts, but MWRA and DCR, and I think DCR Watershed is the one that does the aqueduct work, or the MWRA, but this is a flood control, so I think it's a separate DCR flood control group that does it. All state agencies, but they don't always communicate really well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I was curious because they keep it very well maintained, but I've never known who actually was doing that, or which division.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the guy who does maintenance in the area was the one I've talked to, and he's on top of stuff. He's really good. So
Great.
I expect he's the one that's keeping an eye on it and taking good care of it. Hopefully he stays around a long time.
Terrific update. Thank you, Vinny.
All right. I was
Um,
surprised when I saw this when you sent it to me.
We were some ESP going on.
Yeah.
The only other general business for my own interest and anyone else listening, any news about the Whitney Street property that we acquired at town meeting and the dreams of trails and so on and cleanup over there? Do you know any more, Vinny, or anyone else?
We haven't got things finalized with the with the inspection. There's a phrase, a Latin phrase for it, but there's a phrase for the inspection before we have, the town owns it and has acquired it, but we haven't done a formal closure of the check to make sure everything is good and what the options are. We're still looking at different potential locations for the housing that would be there, whether we can fit 2 4-unit buildings or whether we just fit one. We're still looking at that. And the wildlife is having a great time out there still. I was out a couple of weeks ago and saw some, actually not quite wildlife. I saw some goats, but then I also saw some other critters out there, some sign from other critters. So it's a nice spot. It'll be good once we get a trail in there. We get Brian out there with the crew. And I heard we also could get some help, potential funding from the DCR, one of the groups in DCR with recreation and access in their lakes and ponds group. So they
Really?
might be willing to do some, to assist with funding for trails work and access recreation.
That's interesting.
That's fascinating. I've never even heard of that group. This is the new DCR.
From the DCR, yes. Yes.
Did they ever write the CR? Or are they waiting on us to finalize before they write the CR?
I haven't gotten a copy. They haven't put in their whatever the matching funds, whatever it is, they were going to put in 200,000. We haven't seen that yet because they haven't finished their, like, that's what I'm saying. It's a phrase that isn't coming to me, but they're doing a review of it. And then once they get that, they're going to do the CR and then we'll get the check and that will go to the conservation fund.
Awesome.
Cool.
That is a good segue into my next item of other business, which is that we expended the conservation money from CPA in buying Whitney. We are hopeful to get the 200,000 back in that you talked about, which is going to the conservation fund, right?
Yes.
Regardless of whether it's designated as CPA open space money or not, it's still a resource. However, it's application season for CPA. So do members feel we should again continue to put another application in for some more reserves to start replenishing that fund? I'm seeing nods,
Yep.
as I thought I
Yes.
would. And therefore,
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
we should.
I shall do so. Maybe writing it for 200,000 to match 200,000 coming in, bring it up to a nice 400,000. Does that seem like a good, reasonable measure?
Yeah, I think so.
Then that's what I'll do.
What is the deadline? I've been asked by Historic what the deadline is for, do we know what the deadline is yet for CPA applications?
November 1st is
Okay.
the deadline, posted online, I think. But of course, there's flexibility. I do not know what's coming, although I understand there's a pretty large affordable housing measure. So that may be this year's big thing. Great. Well, I will write that and get it in. CPA is due to meet next week, so I'll do it before next week. And we'll take it from there. Does anyone else have any other business whatsoever? Hearing none, just confirming we had set out a schedule of meeting every 2 months. We didn't meet in July, didn't really need to. Our next meeting would be November 25. 7 p.m. Everybody good with that? That's the week of Thanksgiving, but not interfering with Thanksgiving weekend.
Fine for me.
Okay. We shall keep it there. Very good. Hearing nothing else. Good meeting, nice and quick. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you again, Brian. Very good. Roll call vote to adjourn. Dan,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
and me, John. I agree. We are adjourned.
Thanks. Have a good one, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Good night, everyone.